Let's look at number 7, unrepresentative sample. And unrepresentative samples can come up in a variety of different places. We did an example earlier with a student talking about a study involving old people with insomnia, and then talking about old people in general. Old people with insomnia specifically is not a representative sample of old people overall or of people in general, period. That's one example from an actual LSAT question in the 60s. And then this example here, the person is saying they listened to several indie rock albums, and then they're drawing a conclusion about rock music in general. So of course, indie rock albums specifically, that's only one genre or subgenre of rock. You can't draw a conclusion about rock music overall simply on the basis of indie rock specifically. Have you tried classic rock? Have you tried alternative rock? Have you tried pop rock? Lots of other varieties this person hasn't considered. And this is also actually an example of going from moderate to extreme, depending on how you frame it. You could say that the indie rock album specifically is a qualified, more limited group, and then they've made the more extreme claim about rock music overall. That's why I said moderate to extreme is kind of like a catch-all category there, but it can be a useful framing device to better understand these. You could also think of this as a part-to-whole flaw in particular, saying that indie rock in particular is representative of rock music overall, or what is true of one subgenre of rock is true of rock as a whole. So it could be, this example could actually be framed as part to whole. I framed it here as an unrepresentative sample, but I think both interpretations here would actually be valid. All right, let's go to number 8 with false analogy. And so arguments by analogy are incredibly common in general, as well as on the LSAT. An analogy is simply saying that two things that are similar in one way must be similar in another way in particular. And I've got a quote here from an astronomer saying that because two things are similar in nature, that they must be similar in other ways also. So they say that animals have 7 windows, nostrils, eyes, ears, mouth, and because animals in nature are apparently, and planets are similar in lots of ways in nature, therefore planets, there must also be 7 planets. So to me, this argument seems completely nonsensical, but the idea is that they say from this and many other similarities in nature. I think that's the key. So because these things are similar in many ways in nature, and of course, very conveniently, it's too tedious for this guy to enumerate, then the number of planets must be 7 overall. So they've drawn a very extreme claim based on things being similar in certain key ways, and this guy hasn't even bothered to explain what those similarities are. So this is really a questionable argument here. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.